So coming to a comfortable position down on your back. Take a moment to really settle in, giving the spine and the joints the opportunity to just kind of wiggle around until they feel comfortable. And then eventually bringing some stillness to the body so that all of the fingers, toes, both feet and hands, legs and arms can just really relax and melt into the floor. And as you do that, if it's available to you today, go ahead and close your eyes. And allow the breath to be the focus of the attention. Full, complete inhales, lengthened and relaxing exhales. Taking an inhale, allowing the lungs to fill completely, letting the belly rise in space. And let that inhale flow directly into your exhale. The belly lowers, the lungs deflate, and tension is released from the body. As you continue to calm the physical body with your breath, keep the attention focused solely on your breath so that you can also calm the mind. Taking about 2 to 3 more full cycles of breath. This inhale flowing in seamlessly to the exhale, which flows directly into the next inhale. And then, as you finish up your final cycle, keep that breath flowing, and then slowly slide 1 foot at a time along the mat to bring the knees up towards the ceiling, bottoms of the feet on the ground. Adjust the hips so that they're comfortable. And then on an inhale, 1 leg at a time, float it up and in toward the chest. Hands can be gripping behind the thighs. Maybe the hands are resting on the fronts of the shins. Just gently rock side to side. Gentle massage on the low back. Slow that movement down, coming back to center. And inhale. Let the hands slide away from the legs as you exhale, and let the legs gently fall over to the right. If it's comfortable in your neck, you can bring the chin over towards the left shoulder, and then just hold here in this first supine twist for about 2 rounds of breath. You can continue to be working with your eyes closed, or go ahead and gently blink the eyes open if that's more comfortable. On your next natural inhale, you're going to bring the chin back to center, allowing the knees to float back up and over. And exhale, lowering the knees over to the left, chin can come over to the right. Feeling an opening along the front of the chest where the arms are open. Feeling the lengthening from the armpit to the hip on that right side. Last breath here. Inhale to draw the chin back to center. Lift the knees up. And then this time, go ahead and bring your hands to the fronts of the shins. And if it's available to you, start to see how much of the wrist or the forearm that you can gradually, bit by bit, walk over the front of the shins till maybe you're grasping opposite wrists, opposite forearms, or potentially all the way to opposite elbows. And don't hold your breath as you're doing this. There's still the pressure of the thighs on the belly, but you're keeping the inhales and exhales flowing. You're also, even though you're pulling the arms up, you're allowing those shoulder blades to stay down the back and shoulders out of the ears. Think about gently and slightly tucking the chin towards the chest, not touching, but just bringing it that direction. And then inhale to float the back of the head up off the mat, bringing the forehead closer to the knees. So you're making yourself into a teeny tiny round ball and breathing with the pressure of the thighs against the belly. Nice. And then exhale, slowly release the head back down. Slide the arms down, and then inhale, extend the legs up towards the ceiling, flexing the feet firmly so that the quadricep muscles, the hamstring muscles, all the muscles of the thighs and calves engage as you are imagining that you're keeping the ceiling off of you with your feet. Your hands can either be down by your sides using your upper arms and shoulder blades as support, or if you know your low back and you would like to, you can slide the hands palm down underneath each hip so that as we move into the next series of movements, which is lowering the legs, you're creating a little bit of support for that low back. Take an inhale here to prepare. And then exhale, you're just going to lower those heels away from you until you are at about the 60-degree mark. So up here, we're starting at 90 degrees. You're just going to lower them down about a quarter of the way to 60 degrees. Hold here for one more breath. And then exhale again, lowering down this time to about 45 degrees. So now you're about halfway. Pause for a breath. And then exhale, lower down to about 30 degrees. Keep the breath flowing, engaging the core. And then on your next exhale, you're going to lower down so that your heels are just hovering above the floor. Last breath here. And then inhale, lift the legs all the way back up to where you started from. Releasing the hands from under the hips, you're going to bring the hands straight up from the shoulders. So now you're making the letter U shape with the arms up, the legs up, parallel to one another, and the body as the base. Now you're welcome to stay right here with the arms as you begin to lower that right leg down, keeping the left leg up. And the right leg can go down just an inch or two, or maybe you take the heel all the way to tap the floor, and then inhale, right leg comes back up. Exhale to lower the left leg slowly, maybe just an inch or two, maybe all the way down to the floor, and then inhale, lift it up. You can continue with the arms where they are, or as you exhale and lower the right foot down, you're going to reach that right hand towards the left toes, and then inhale, bring the right leg up. And then left hand towards the right toes as the left foot goes down. Next option is you're going to reach the right hand up and the left hand back towards the left foot, and then left hand towards the right foot as the right hand goes back. So you're alternating opposite leg and arm down towards the floor, opposite arm and leg touching towards the ceiling. Continue with about 3 more rounds of this. And you can have the back of the head lifted up off the floor with the chin slightly tucked in. That's what works a little bit better for me. Or play around with what is best for your neck. Last round, bring the arms back up, lower the back of the head to the floor if it's up, and then hands swoop around to the back of the thighs and you hug the knees in. From here, you're going to just start to slowly rock along the length of the spine from tail to shoulder blade until you can create some momentum and start rocking like a ball all the way up to seated. Nice. I'm turning so that you can just face me. You can stay where you are if you can see your device. You're going to come to a comfortable seated position. Lengthen the arms straight out from the shoulders. From here, take an inhale to prepare, and then exhale, cross the arms in front of you, left over right, so you make the letter X. Palms come towards your face, and then reach the palms over to the shoulders. You're welcome to stay here, or you can bring the backs of the palms together, or if it's available to you, you're going to intertwine the forearms so that the palms and fingertips can touch. And then inhale to lift the elbows up away from the chest, and exhale to extend the hands away from the forehead. Hold here and breathe into that space between the shoulder blades. Maybe even ever so slightly tucking the belly button towards the spine and rounding the middle back to the wall behind you, so you're almost coming into an angry cat type shape. And then inhale, lower the shoulders, release the elbows, untwine the arms, and then exhale out to the side. Inhale, come back towards center. You're going to cross the opposite direction with the right arm over the left this time. Create the letter X. Hands can come to the shoulders. You're welcome to stay right there. Or back to the palms together, or intertwine the forearms, palms and fingers touching. Inhale to lift the elbows up away from the chest, lower the shoulders away from the ears, and then exhale, pull the hands away from the forehead. Same thing again, picturing that space between the shoulder blades on the middle of the back, directing your breath there. Opening up the shoulders and the upper back, maybe even coming into just a bit of an angry cat. And then inhale, come back to center, release the hands, exhale, and lower them down. Rolling over your knees or sliding the legs over to one side, coming up into all fours. So the hands are directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips, and you have your back flat like a tabletop. Think about turning the upper arms so that the elbow creases face one another. Gaze is about 6 to 8 inches in front of the fingertips so that the neck and back of the skull can stay in alignment with the spine. And you're going to take an inhale, lower the belly towards the floor as you lift the chin and lift the tail into cow pose. Exhale, press the floor away with the palms as you round the middle back up, tucking the chin and the tail into angry cat. Inhale into cow. And then exhale into angry cat. Nice. Come back to neutral. Spine is lengthened. Tuck the toes into the floor. Take an inhale and then float the knees up and hold here. You're just going to hold the knees and hover them away from the floor for about 2 full cycles of breath. Excellent. On your next exhale, slowly lower the knees down. Take an inhale, float the knees up. You're welcome to stay right here if you choose, or you can shift the hips back, coming into a floating child's pose. Hold for 1 breath. And then exhale, come back, hold the knees over the floor for 1 breath. And then exhale and lower down. 1 more time doing that same thing. You can either stay right here in tabletop, keep your knees floating, or flow through that floating child's pose, whichever of the 3 works best for you. Inhale, if you're going into floating knees, you lift them up. Exhale, if you're going into floating child's pose, you shift your hips back. Hold for a breath. And then inhale, come back forward. And exhale, lower the knees down. Nicely done. Keeping the toes tucked in, you're going to start to walk the knees closer to the wrists. And then start to shift your weight back onto your heels. You're going to keep the palms planted, but start to rotate the wrists so that the fingertips can point out to the sides. If that's too much sensation, then just start to move the fingertips back to whichever angle is going to still give you somewhat of a sensation of opening up the inside of the wrist without so much sensation that it's painful. If you can continue going, you can rotate the fingertips so maybe they're angling back towards your feet, or all the way flipped around so that the fingertips are pointing towards the knees. And then you just kind of shift your shoulders back in space so that you can feel that lengthening along the forearm. Take another breath here. And then exhale, flip the hands back around. You can stay right where you are, or you can start to push the floor away so you can lift your knees up. If this is too much pressure into your knees, you're going to come up to standing by just lifting 1 foot forward and then the next foot. Otherwise, if your knees are happy with this, you're going to push the floor away so that your knees are pulling up into your chest, and you're coming back into that ball shape maybe you even release the hands from the floor and you turn this into a bit of a balance pose. Otherwise, you're just opening up the bottoms of the feet here. Take 1 more breath. And then as you're ready, push the floor away, lower the heels to the floor, and lower the torso and the head over the legs into forward fold. Move the feet gently so that they are about hip width distance apart. Find the foundation of the feet against the floor so that the big toe ball mound, the baby toe ball mound, and the heel are all firmly supported. Let the tension out of the back of the neck. Head hangs heavy. Take an inhale, press the palms into the shins, extend the spine into half forward fold. And then exhale, release it down again. And then inhale, start to round up 1 vertebra at a time, slowly and carefully. Shoulders come up, back, and down, and then the head lifts up. Nice. Coming to a stand at the top of your mat, you're going to take your hands together at heart center. Pull the shoulders away from the ears as you open up the collarbones and lift the sternum to press against the hands. Take a breath here. And then inhale, shoot the fingertips up to the ceiling. Exhale, waterfall the arms down as you come back into forward fold, hinging from the hips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep bend in the knees, bring the hands to the floor, step the feet all the way towards the back. If you're on a mat, the feet are at the opposite end of the mat. And then if staying on your toes is more than what you're wanting right now, you can lower the knees down and come into a modified plank. So you choose whichever version is better for you right now. Energy is pressing out through the heels, core is engaged, shoulder blades are pulling down towards the waist on the back body. Instead of allowing the head to hang and the gaze look at the fingers, you're wanting the head to be in line with the rest of the spine. So the gaze is at about 6 to 8 inches in front of the hands. Take an inhale now. And then exhale, squeeze the elbows in, lower the chest between the arms all the way down to the floor. And then inhale, either just a baby back bend, lifting the sternum away from the floor, or extending the arms and lifting the front body up. Tuck the toes into the floor. Exhale, lift the hips, and you're in your upside down letter V shape or downward facing dog. Take a moment here, just start to pedal out the feet, alternating the bend in each leg. Nice. Slow that movement down. You're pressing the heels towards the floor, whether they actually touch or not, doesn't matter. And you can keep the knees bent as much as you need to really feel that tailbone lifting up to the ceiling. Now we're going to go into a version of down dog that is called dolphin. You're welcome to stay right here. Otherwise, you're just going to start to lower one elbow at a time down to the floor and keep that same lift in the tail as you press the floor away with your forearms, elbows, and wrists, opening up across the shoulders. Take one more breath here. Inhale to lift the gaze, and then one arm at a time back into downward dog. Gaze is at the fingertips, and you can step, walk, or hop your feet forward so that the toes land behind the palms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, extend the spine. Exhale and fold. And then inhale, lift the arms up, bring the palms together. Exhale, bring the palms all the way down to the sternum. Shoulders down, lift the chest. Inhale, shoot the fingertips up. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips as the arms come down into forward fold. Inhale, half lift, deep bend in the knees. Exhale, hands down, and then step all the way back. You can either stay on the toes in full plank or lower the knees for modified plank. Holding here. You can stay right here if you choose. Otherwise, you're going to bring that left foot closer to the center and then lift up the right foot and rest the ball of the right foot on the heel of the left foot. Maybe putting the Achilles tendon between the big toe and second toe of the right foot. And then pull that left heel down with the right toes. Exhale and release that. Switch feet. Right toes to the center, left toes on top. And you can do this if you're in modified plank too. Just keep the knees down. And then pull the heel of the right foot back with the toes of the left foot. Exhale, release that. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, squeeze the elbows, lower the chest, down into chaturanga. Inhale, half lift, or all the way up. And then exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. One more version with that dolphin pose right here. Again, you're welcome to stay in down dog with the palms on the floor if you prefer. Otherwise, take an inhale and then exhale to lower the elbows to the floor. Press the floor away with the elbows and the forearms. And then inhale, start to float that right foot up. Exhale, release the foot down. Inhale, float the left foot up. And then exhale, float it down. One palm at a time, press the floor away, back up into downward dog. Repeating that same movement in down dog, you're going to inhale, lift the right foot up. Maybe you just want to have it hover over the floor today, or you can lift the foot up as high as the hips. Extending that tail up to the ceiling. Take another breath here. And then bring the gaze to the hands as you exhale, pull that right foot all the way forward up to the right hand. Excellent. From here, you want that right foot to come a little bit closer so that it is more under the right shoulder, or even closer so that the right foot is landing under the chest. You're going to pivot your back foot down at an angle, and that back foot's going to be pointing at about 9 o'clock, maybe between 9 and 10 o'clock. Your right hand can come inside the right foot as the left hand comes to the hip, or the right forearm can come to the right knee. From here, depending on whether you are on the thigh or down on the floor, if you choose, you're going to extend the left arm up towards the ceiling. You're opening up the chest towards the left side. If the arm is up, you're stacking left wrist over left shoulder over right shoulder over right wrist. Inhale here. Last variation, you can exhale and extend the left arm long over the left ear. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, lower that left hand and bring both hands to the front thigh as you come to the ball of the back foot. You're welcome to stay right here. Next variation, you're going to bring the left elbow to the right thigh, right hand to the right hip. You can stay right here or lower that left hand down towards the floor outside of the right ankle, and the right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Or exhale and extend that right arm long over the right ear. Revolved, extended angle. Exhale to lower the right hand down to the floor. You're going to slide the right foot back so that it's right under the center of the torso. Left hand comes up and forward from that foot about 4 to 6 inches. Take an inhale, press off that back foot, let it float up. Maybe the toes are just hovering. Maybe that heel comes all the way up to about hip height. You can keep the right hand on the right hip, or you can extend that right arm up towards the ceiling, coming into revolved half moon. Nice. Take a nice long full inhale and exhale here. And then exhale to lower that right hand down to the floor. Step the left foot all the way back again. And this time you're just going to slide your right foot, heel toe it, kind of wiggle it out so that you can come into a low lunge. From here, lower that left knee down to the floor. Now you might want to fold the edge of your mat over if you need a little extra cushion for that back knee. You can keep the left hand right there underneath the shoulder, or the left forearm can come up across the thigh. You can keep that back foot right where it is, or you can inhale and float the foot up. Now your right arm, you can stay right here with this, or you can extend that right arm back behind you and see if you can locate the left heel or ankle and coming into a revolved low lunge with that bound foot. Last breath here. Gently, slowly release the bind, lower the toes, bring the hands back to the floor, tuck the toes into the floor. Inhale to float that left knee off, and then take a big step all the way up towards the top so both feet land at the top of your mat. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. Now, as you inhale, you're going to lift the torso up and kick that left foot up back behind you. You can keep both knees together, just hovering the left toes off the floor, or the left foot is as high as the left knee. Reaching that right hand back around behind you, you can again find your foot, front of the foot or the heel, and then inhale to lift up the left hand and press that left foot into the right hand as much as the right hand presses into the foot until you create enough leverage to start moving forward. You are in revolved king dancer. Inhale, lift up. Release the foot. Exhale, bring the hands together, heart center. Maybe you close your eyes and take a few deep breaths here. Notice the difference between the two sides of the body. Release the hands, blink open the eyes. Inhale to reach the arms up, hands come together. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, soften the knees, lower down into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. Bring the hands to the floor, step the feet back, and then either keep the knees off the ground for full plank or lower the knees for modified plank. Following that same variation that we did the last time, this time you're going to start with bringing that right foot again to the center, left big toe and second toe. Pull the Achilles tendon so that the heel of the right foot moves back. Exhale, release the left foot and switch them around. Right toe, pull the left heel back. And then release that. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale your version of a back extension. And then tuck the toes into the mat. Exhale, downward dog. Hold here for about 2 full breaths. Inhale to lift your gaze towards your hands, and then exhale, if you choose, lower down into dolphin. Inhale, maybe you lift the left leg to about hip height. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, lower down. Inhale to bring the gaze forward, Lift up one arm at a time. Downward facing dog. Firm foundation with the right foot. Inhale. Lift the left foot to about hip height. Equal weight between the two hands to keep the pelvis and the shoulders level to the floor. Inhale here. Exhale to lift the gaze and pull that left foot all the way up to where the left hand was. You can bring that left hand inside the left foot and then pivot the right toes out so that the right toes are either pointing at about 3 o'clock or maybe between 2 and 3 o'clock. Left hand can stay there, or if it's better for you, that left forearm can come up to the left thigh. Right hand is on the hip. And then inhale, you're going to lift that right arm up. Exhale, extend the right arm long, extended side angle. Take about 2 to 3 breaths here. And then from here, you're going to lower that right hand down as you come to the ball of the right foot. Bring the left hand outside the left foot. And the right forearm can come to the top of that left thigh. Left hand comes to the left hip. You're welcome to stay right here, or you can lower that right hand down to the floor on the outside of the left foot, and then extend the left arm up to the ceiling. You can stay there, or exhale, extend that left arm long. Revolved, extended side angle. Keep breathing. And then exhale. Lower that hand down. Unwind all of that. You're going to bring the right hand about 4 to 6 inches in front of the left foot. Left hand comes back to the hip. Inhale, press the floor away with that right foot. You can either hover the toes or lift the toes up to about hip height. And then if you choose, release that left hand. Firmly flex the right foot for balance and come into revolved half moon. Opening the chest over to the left. Exhale to release the left hand to the floor. Reach the right foot behind you and then just start to toe heel the left foot over towards the left side. Lower the right knee down to the floor. Again, adding extra cushion if that's better for you. Keeping the left hand down if you choose. You can bring the right hand closer to that left foot or right forearm across the left thigh. You're welcome to stay right here, starting to open the chest towards the left. Or you can lift up that right heel, reach that left arm back and extend it behind you, and then find the left foot or ankle and come into a bound, revolved, low lunge. You can keep the chest open to the left, or for a little bit more opener on that shoulder, you can start to bring the chest closer to the front. Last breath here. Gently, slowly release the foot. Bring the hands on either side of the front foot. Tuck the back toes into the floor. Float the back knee up. And then inhale to take a big step to the top. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. And then inhale, and as you bring the torso up, you're also going to lift up that right foot back behind you. Left foot is your firm foundation. You can keep the knees and the inner thighs together. Or if you want, you can bring that right foot all the way up so that you can grab the front of the ankle or foot with the right hand, or coming back into the revolved, you're going to grab it with the left hand, whichever one works better on this side. Inhale to reach that right arm up. Exhale, press the foot into the hand as the hand presses into the foot, and start to teeter-totter forward in revolved King Dancer. Exhale, bring that back to center. Gently, slowly release the grip with the foot. Stack the feet under the hips, the shoulders over the hips, hands together, palms together, bring them to heart center. Take 2 to 3 full rounds of breath. Inhale to lift the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hinge forward, coming into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. And then this time, create enough of a bend in your knee so that when you lift your toes, you're able to reach down and put the first 2 fingers in between the toe and the big toe and the second toe. So you have a toe grip here. Your elbows are coming out to the side. You're going to release the tension out of the back of the neck. And as much bend as you need to, you're going to pull the chest towards the thighs. As you do, elbows come out to the side. And you're creating that opening again between the shoulder blades like we did at the beginning. Hold here and breathe. Exhale, release, lift that up, unbind the toes, start to toe heel the feet closer together. Big toe ball mound touching, ankle bones touching, squeezing the calves together. Again, as much bend as is appropriate for you. You're going to bring the hands to the back of the calves, or perhaps you put opposite hand on opposite calf, or perhaps you're able to take a bind on the forearms, similar to what we did at the warm-up when we were on our backs. If it's available for you to reach the elbows, go ahead and do that, and then lower the elbows or the forearms as deeply into the calf as you can. Take an inhale here. Start to lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling, letting the head round down, pulling that upper back apart. Take 2 more breaths here. Exhale and release. Lower the hands to the floor. Step the feet back so you have space to step all the way back into plank, or lower the knees into modified plank. Engaging the quadriceps to the femur, really using the leg muscles to hold the body still. We're going to go right back into that one-legged plank. So starting on the right leg, bring it towards the center, and then lift the left toes on top of that right heel. Pushing the floor away, you're going to bring that right hand closer to the center, and then you're going to exhale to pivot over so that you're opening up to the left side, and then inhale, maybe you reach the left arm up to the ceiling or left hand to the hip, and hold here in side plank. Last breath. Exhale, lower the hand, pivot back up on the toes, come back to center, release the feet. Same thing, other side. Left foot to center, right toes on top. Left hand center, pivot over to the side. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling as you bring the right hand to the hip or right hand to the ceiling. Keep the breath flowing. Last inhale. Exhale, bring the hand down, pivot to the ball, and release the feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold here for about 2 to 3 full cycles of breath. Excellent. Bringing the gaze towards the hands. You're going to start to walk your feet about halfway to the midpoint of your mat if you're on one, and then walk the hands back towards the toes. Now, we're going to go reverse what we did way back at the beginning, where you are inhaling to lift the heels, and then, if your knees allow, you're going to just start to lower your seat towards your heels and come back into that tiptoe kind of ball shape. Now, if your knees are not happy with this, totally fine, you can stay in forward fold. Just a standing forward fold will work fine. If you would like to try the balance, we're going to do one more time of reaching those arms across and maybe grabbing opposite wrists, forearms, or elbows, so that you're just balancing on the tiptoes, and then let the tension out of the back of the neck. Nice. Take an inhale, and then exhale, lower the hands down. Your hands are going to be about shoulder width distance apart. You're making nice wide starfish with those hands. You're going to inhale, press the floor away to lift the hips back up into forward fold. And then we're going to move forward into playing around with an arm balance. If it does not work for you, that's fine. You can stay here in forward fold, or you can come into tabletop if you'd like a break from that. If you'd like to give it a try, you're going to come up to the tiptoes and start to bend the knees. So you're really lifting that seat up towards the ceiling. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Creating that rounded back that we've been working on. So you're in somewhat of an angry cat back, belly button tucking towards the spine, really carving out the belly. Stiletto heels on your feet, and then bend the knees. As the knees start to bend and you're creating just a bit of a shelf with the elbows, your knees will eventually hit the back of your upper arms. You're welcome to stay here, or you can bring your gaze out in front of you about 8 inches, really lifting up that seat, lifting up the back, carving out the core, and then if you choose, maybe you try 1 foot at a time, lifting up. And then exhale, lower the feet down, and release into forward fold. Giving it a try one more time. If you can feel that you have some security of the knee pressing into the upper arm, almost at the armpit, and you want to float both feet up, that's our next step. Sometimes, if you're wearing clothing where they slide on each other, it might be a little bit more challenging, but you can certainly give it a try. Up to tippy toes. Seat up to the ceiling, carving out that belly, rounding up the upper back, and then starting to bend the knees as you create a shelf with the elbows on the upper arm, gaze coming out in front of you, and then just like a teeter-totter, you're balancing the knees on the fulcrum of your upper arm, and then lifting up 1 toe at a time, or maybe you attempt both toes. And then you wobble back and forth between. Keep the breath flowing. And then exhale, lower the heels, release into forward fold. Inhale to half lift, hands to the shins, exhale and fold. Lower the knees all the way down to the floor, passing through tabletop. Swing the legs out to the side and come into a seated position. Extending the legs long from here. Hands are going to be on either side of you, about at the hip or maybe top of the thigh. Lift the sternum, pull the shoulders away from the ears, and then engage the thigh muscles to the thigh bones so much that maybe the heels float up off the floor. And then exhale, release, relax the muscles of the legs. Do that one more time. Inhale, flex the feet, engage the muscles, float the heels. Sternum is lifted. Exhale and release. Inhale, lift the arms up to the side, and then exhale, lower the torso forward. We're just going to pass through here for a moment. Take another breath here. And then keeping your torso in that forward fold, you're just going to slide the hands back along until they hit, maybe 4 inches above the knee or mid-thigh. You're going to press those starfish hands into the floor. You're going to round that back up again like angry cat, carving out the core. And then inhale, you're going to push the floor away and just float the seat. Carving out the core. Breathe here. Hold for about 2 to 3 more breaths. And then exhale, lower it down. Nice. Take a breath to recover. And then release the hands. Pull one knee up at a time. Coming into the prep position for boat pose. Hands are going to come behind the thighs. You can also just hold your hands here on the fronts of your shins if you know that you're going to just be staying here where you lift the chest towards the thighs, keeping the crown of the head lifted towards the ceiling. Otherwise, if you're going to want to try to float the feet, hands are behind the thighs. Inhale to lift the toes away from the floor, and then just start to extend the arms enough so that you can create a little space between the chest and the thighs, but the spine is still lengthened. Inhale, float the feet. You can stay right here, or maybe you want to bring the heels up to about knee height. You can stay there, or maybe you want to extend those arms on either side of the legs. Maybe you stay there, or maybe you point the toes and you extend the legs. Chest lifting towards the thighs, crown of the head reaching up. Take another breath here. Exhale to release, bringing the hands behind the thighs, lowering the feet down, and then grab the fronts of the shins, lower the forehead towards the knees, and round the spine. Inhale to lift up. Bring the hands for support on either side of you, or hands up in front of you, and then exhale to gently and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, start to lower all the way back down to your back. Release the hands down to the floor, and then feet in closer to your seat, pressing into the bottoms of the feet firmly, keeping the weight across the shoulder blades as you inhale to prepare. Exhale to press the low back down to the floor. Next inhale, you're going to float the hips up any amount. Maybe they just hover over the floor, or maybe you lift the hips up so that you're making a straight line from shoulder past hip to the knee. The knees both pointing straight ahead. Hold here in bridge pose for one more breath. Exhale, release down, one vertebrae at a time, gently and slowly. Lower the tailbone down last. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to press the low back down to the floor. Inhale, push into the bottoms of the feet as you float the hips up, supporting the weight of the body from the feet and the shoulder blades. Bringing the hands together under the tail, if that's available to you. We're going to get a bit of a shoulder opener by pulling those upper arms together, keeping the pinky side of the hands down on the floor, lifting the hips up again as much as is available to you. And then think about lifting that sternum towards the chin. Take 2 more full rounds of breath here. And then exhale, release the shoulder blades, release the grip with the hands, start to lower the spine down, one vertebrae at a time. Gently landing the tail down last. Inhale here. This time exhale, lower both knees over to the right. If you can, try to keep your feet where they were so that your knees are landing off center from each other. And then arms come out from the side body. And if it's good for your neck, go ahead and lower the chin over to the left. Take one more full breath here. And then inhale to lift the chin back up, bring both knees back to center. Exhale, let the knees fall over to the left. Maybe the chin comes over to the right. Relax into it. Let the breath steady and slow. Inhale back up to center. Bring the knees up. And then gently and slowly slide one leg down at a time, extending the legs long. Letting the hips open up by bringing the legs out a bit and then letting the feet and ankles fall open to the side. Arms are away from the side body with the upper arm bones open. And then pivot from the elbow and lower the hands down to the floor. And breathe here. Just falling right back into that same rhythm of one inhale, flowing into the exhale, which cycles right back into the next inhale. Feeling your physical body, being present right here, and acknowledging that your breath is able to calm your mind. Any interrupting, distracting thoughts can be acknowledged, but they don't need attention. They can float away on the next exhale. 2 more cycles of lengthened inhales and lengthened exhales. And then you're going to inhale, bring the arms above the head, point the toes, maybe bring the legs closer together to take a long full body stretch, pulling it apart from the waist. Exhale to roll over to the side, using the upper arm as a pillow. Pause for 1 breath to acclimate. And then inhale and push the floor away with your arms. Come up to seated. Finding a comfortable position. Bringing the hands together, thumbs together. Press them in right at the base of the sternum. Feeling the soft tissue of the belly as you feel the breath move in and out. Take an inhale here. Exhale to lower the chin. Gaze at the fingertips. Namaste. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time.